Alright, so Spyro 2. Um, it's a good game. I guess that's the first thing I should say. It's very similar to Spyro 1. It is mostly the same. It's just mostly more of the same. And, it's not a bad thing. Graphics-wise, it's identical. They didn't make any improvements to the graphics. And, I mean, I wouldn't really expect them to make any major improvements to the graphics, because it's on the same platform. Crash 2 and 3 did improve upon Crash 1, but only in minute ways. This game really, I can't tell a difference visually speaking. The major changes between Spyro 1 and Spyro 2 is that it removes the dependence on collecting things and focuses more on the missions. So you still have to collect gems, but you don't have to collect eggs or dragons anymore. And I like that change. It replaces the collecting of the gems, collecting of the dragons and the eggs with missions. And the missions are kind of like a mixed bag. Some missions are actually pretty fun, but there's way too many missions that are really laborious, boring, and tedious. But the good news about the missions is that at least they're varied. So even if you encounter a mission that's not really that fun, um, it adds variety to the game. Whereas in the previous game, you're just collecting dragons and eggs all the time, and that got really repetitive. It really wasn't great. In this game, it gives you some more, like, I guess Mario 64-esque challenges that you wouldn't normally get in a Spyro game, and that adds a lot of much-needed variety to the game. So that's cool. Other than that, there's honestly not a lot different. It's it's pretty much the same game. So if you loved Spyro 1, I imagine a lot of people would say this is their favorite in the series because there really isn't much of a difference from a gameplay point of view. Um, the enemy design is mostly good. I like some of the enemies. They're pretty cool. Some of them remind me of some of the goofy enemies that you would see in Earthworm Jim or in Crash Bandicoot. So that's pretty cool. Control-wise, like the flaws of this game are pretty much the same flaws that you encountered in Crash 1, and that is controlling Spyro himself. So, like, as you can see, like, in order to turn 180 degrees, he has to turn all the way around, and that takes, like, at least, like, a second, maybe even more than a second to do, because he has such a long body, unlike other platforming characters. And normally this isn't a problem, but when you're doing some missions, like, when you're, like, skating on ice and stuff like that, and you're trying to hit things, it can be so much of a pain to just turn around. Something as simple as just turning takes way too long, and it makes it more cumbersome than it should be. Also, some of the missions take place. I noticed that the level design, in some ways, can be better and worse at the same time. So it's better in the sense that I think the levels are actually shorter, and I like that. I think that's an improvement, because then it makes the pacing a lot better. But some of the environments are a little cramped, and that makes the camera really crap. I think the camera problems are about the same. as it is in the first game, but the missions sometimes make the camera even worse because you have to do like certain specific things in a cramped area, and the camera just gets in the way. There are some levels where everything kind of looks the same, and just it's unappealing. But for the most part, the levels are well designed and look good. Spyro gets some new moves, some new power-ups. In the previous game, he could fly, whereas in this game, he gets a few more power-ups that add some variety to it. He gets like a improved fire attack and improved charge ability, and those are welcome additions. They're all temporary, but it's not a big deal. It's not like a negative, in other words. It's okay that they're temporary. And they use a lot of these power-ups in conjunction with the mission system, which helps with the variety and, you know, making the gameplay still, you know, fresh and fun as you keep playing it. That's pretty much all I have to say. In terms of quality between the two games, I think this game is a little bit better than Spyro 1. But not much better. Hopefully Spyro 3 will be you know, a big improvement over Spyro 2, but I guess we'll find out when we get there. That's all I gotta say about it. It's between Spyro 2 and 3, what people find their favorite. Yeah, hopefully I'll like Spyro 3 more. But yeah, I like Spyro 2 a little bit more than Spyro 1. It's not a huge improvement, but that's alright. Alright, that's it.